Hi, I'm Weston. I love talking about the Astros, and today I am going to hand out my personal mid-season awards for the Astros. The All-Star Week currently is going on. The All-Star Game is tonight. The Home Run Derby was last night. How about Juan Soto winning that? That's funny that, ironically, both times that a National has won it, they have left within weeks of it happening. Weston, Juan Soto hasn't been traded yet. It's coming. But we're not talking about the Home Run Derby, the All-Star Game. We're talking about the Astros mid-season awards. And through the first half, even though it's technically more than half, Team MVP, I mean, we all know. You know who it is, I know who it is, people that barely watch the game know who it is. It's Yordan Alvarez, and you can put a little pin in the team MVP part of it. He might just be the MVP of the American League, excuse me. And here's the thing, if you're a National League fan, like if you're a fan of someone in the National League, or even if you're a fan of someone in the American League who just doesn't have a horse in the MVP race, you know, a team who doesn't have any good candidates, you should be rooting for Yordan Alvarez. This would quite literally, if he wins the MVP, it would break down barriers. It would be not dissimilar to King Felix winning the Cy Young back in like 2008, or Jacob deGrom winning back-to-back in 18 and 19, proving that like this would break down barriers, not for win-loss in the Cy Young candidacy, but no designated hitter, and I know Yordan can play the field some, but no designated hitter has won the MVP, and Yordan can change that. Also, it's not like he's undeserving of it. He's the best hitter in Major League Baseball. And I don't need to stutter. I mean, he just is. He is the best hitter in the sport. He is ridiculous. Yordan Alvarez has been hitting at a level that we didn't think would happen. I mean, look, rookie season, right? Rookie season, he, in like 89 games, puts up a 178 WRC plus or around there, if I'm not mistaken. And everyone's like, wow, that's crazy good. But, you know, it's only like half a season, and no one had, you know, the information on him. I don't know that he'll ever get back to that height. And that's not a bad thing, right? That high of a WRC plus is, it's ridiculous to ever expect a player other than like Mike Trout to hit that on a season-to-season basis. I mean, only a handful of Astros have ever done that or had one that high. And this season, he makes that look like chump numbers. Through the first part of the season, Yordan is slashing 306, 405, 53 for a slugging percentage, a 197 WRC plus, the best WRC plus by an Astro. If he were to continue this for the rest of the season, it would be the best since Jeff Bagwell won MVP in 1994. And this is, I don't love WAR as a statistic, but 4.1 WAR already for a player who's only had 33 of the 75 games playing the outfield, right? This WAR, and when he plays the outfield, he's probably a little bit below league average defensively. I mean, granted, he makes some good plays, and we can all agree on that, but overall, his defense leaves some to be desired. But 4.1 WAR, basically for a straight-out defense or designated hitter, is ridiculous. And that's not even to talk about the fact that his expected numbers are significantly better than his actual numbers. His expected batting average is like 50 points higher than his actual batting average. He's batting over 300, and he's getting significantly shortchanged. I want to say it's around 350. He's in the 100th percentile this season in exit velo, hard hit, expected WOBA, expected batting average, and expected slugging. There is no hitter better on the planet right now than Yordan Alvarez. He's also 98th in barrel, and this is the most mind-blowing to me, 96th in walk rate. The fact that you have a player who is hitting the ball the hardest of anyone and also is as disciplined as anyone is ridiculous. I would like to, before we get into the Cy Young Award, give everyone a little warning, because this is going to be a long segment, and honestly, this could just be a video all its own, but I'm going to put it in here because, oh boy, I'm about to nerd out on a level that we might never have seen before. All right, Team Cy Young for the first half of the season. And this question for the Astros, for our pitching staff, really puts into question, for sabermetricians like myself, what are we voting on with awards? Is it who has the better stuff in a vacuum, or who's getting the better reactions? Because in a vacuum, Javier has the better stuff, right? His stuff should be getting better reactions. But, man, oh man, oh man, how could you not go with Justin Verlander? As I drove to my signature coffee shop where I go to write all of these videos, like all of the mid-season awards, all the season awards, the grading videos, I've done them all at the same coffee shop. Shout out Apocalypse Coffee Roasters. Driving there, I'm like, all right, it's going to be Javier. That is the Cy Young going into it. And I started looking at the numbers, and yeah, he has better expected numbers. He has better velocity. He has better stuff in itself. But Verlander has been getting significantly better reactions. And this is not to insult Verlander's season at all, because he still has great numbers. But looking deeper into it, Javi maybe should have a better ERA. He's been getting better contact, and he has a lot more strikeouts. But when you look at things like expected ERA, right, that can tell you who is going to be better. But with award voting, are we voting on who's going to be better, who should be better, or who got the better reactions? And I think we're out of time right now where we're starting to approach the who should have had better reactions, but unless they are dramatically better, right, like ridiculous, I think we still have got to go with who's getting the better actual reactions. And there's no debate if you're looking at who's getting the better pure ERA, whip, who's better? It's Verlander, and it isn't close. And, like, listen, ball don't lie. I think by the end of the season, Javier is going to be the team Cy Young, because I just do. But to this point of the season, it's Verlander. It has to be. This is Verlander coming off of Tommy John surgery, nearly 2 full years missed from the sport, and he's sporting a 1.89 ERA and is having, by at least a few metrics, the best season he's ever had. And he's a Hall of Fame pitcher who's already won multiple Cy Young Awards and an MVP. 1.89 ERA, second best in the American League. 3.300, which that sounds a little bit high, I know, that's what I thought, but then you look at the league-wide, and it's 9th best in all of Major League Baseball. Not the American League, but all Major League Baseball, all starters, 9th. You continue on, a 308 FIP, and again, seems a little bit higher than you'd like, but again, like 12th league-wide. Again, Major League-wide, he's ridiculous this season. And that's just that. You keep going. 4.5 walk rate, which is fantastic. A 1.56 walks per 9. That's great. That's 5th league-wide. And the only reason his FIP isn't ridiculously elite is because his Ks per 9 has gone down a little bit, but he's replaced that with some softer contact. Verlander, coming off a season, not even coming off a season, coming off like 2 seasons ago, coming off a Tommy John surgery, is having the best surface level season of his career. And to the midway point, he's got to be the team Cy Young. I would also say that Verlander doubles as comeback player of the year because, I mean, my God, what a story he has going this season. All right, rookie of the year, and shocker, it's Jeremy Pena to the halfway point. Last year, like, even to the halfway point, there were a lot of different questions you had, you know? MVP was a good conversation to be had. Cy Young was a good conversation to be had. Rookie of the Year was a good conversation to be had. And this year, they're all pretty much no-brainers. Jeremy Pena, 96th percentile and outs above average, and that really is the only defensive metric that I personally really care about. Like, WRC plus at 118, and that's a solid enough offensive output, especially from a person at a premium defensive position like shortstop. You're expecting them to be not quite as elite offensively. You know, you have the outliers, but that's a great WRC plus for a shortstop. This is a great rookie season, and this is him stepping into massive shoes to fill. Like, he's replacing one of the franchise icons in Carlos Correa, and he has not missed a beat. I also completely believe that he is going to get better each year. Like, I think this is the worst Pena we're going to see. I think he is going to be just bonkers next year. And now we move into reliever of the season. And that's surprisingly a big debate to be had because our bullpen is crammed and full of talent. We have the best bullpen in the American League, if I'm not mistaken. So the fact that this is actually a conversation to be had of who is our best reliever is kind of wild because last year, again, Ryan Presley ran away with it. And this season, there's like 5 that you could argue for it. I'm personally, shut up, Thunder, going to give it to Ryan Stenek. All right, hands up. Who had Ryan Stenek being the best relief pitcher on the team? That's right, nobody. And that is not at all a knock against Ryan Stenek. I thought he was going to be another solid middle relief guy, the same thing that he was last year, right? A perfectly cromulent option to go to when you're getting ready for the late innings. And instead, he's been one of the best relievers in the American League. He's got one of the hardest fastballs in the league. It touches 100 constantly. On top of that, he's just crazy good with swing and miss stuff. Like, people can't touch his stuff, and when they do, it's usually weak contact. 90th percentile in expected batting average, 92nd in expected slugging, 94th in whiff, and 97th in barrel percentage. People just can't square up Ryan Stenek's pitches, and that is totally shown through with a 0.57 ERA for Ryan Stenek. And ready for this? 6.76 ERA plus. 100 is average, ladies and gentlemen. A absolute just video game number season for Ryan Stenek this season to this point. All right, biggest surprise of the season. So last year, trade deadline comes along, and the Astros trade Abraham Toro and Joe Smith to the Seattle Mariners in exchange for Kendall Graveman and some guy named Rafael Montero. That was originally deemed the Graveman trade. And man, with the benefit of hindsight, that's the Rafael Montero trade. Because holy crap, we got him as a, just throw him in extra move. Like, that is ridiculous. I think he's been our second best reliever, and you could make the argument that he's been our best reliever and argue him over Stenek. I think that's a conversation you could have, and you might be able to convince me on it. I'm still going to roll with Stenek and then Montero, but that's a great 1-2 combination. Like, he's been fantastic. Like, second best FIP on the team, a sub-2 ERA. I want to say it's like 1.93 if I'm not mistaken. Great K to walk numbers. Like, he's not giving up walks that much. He's striking out a ton. He's only given up 1 home run this season. And the fact that this was a and player by James Click is just, it might be his best move as GM to this point. Getting him as a extra throw-in. Like, fantastic. And he has been otherworldly this season out of the pen. Okay, so it might be raining a little bit. Just ignore that in the background. We're going to keep moving. Okay, so we're just going to try to keep moving. Next award, the Michael Brantley Award. This is really just my way to once again mention the fact that Michael Brantley is just the most consistent hitter on this team. Again, one of the best players in expected batting average. I think he's in like the 99th percentile because of course he is. He is just so year in and year out a metronome on this team. I absolutely adore him. He's a free agent at the end of this year. I would love to bring him back for another couple of years because, I mean, my goodness, another season where he's just a WRC plus around 130. I think it's 127 this season. Michael Brantley's fantastic. He's solid enough in left field. Be quiet. And offensively, he's everything you could want. And, I mean, my goodness, the face of consistency on this team. So the last actual award for the team, which is Gold Glove, and it goes to everyone on the team who's played center field because, my God, we just pump out center fielders. And we have for a while now. Like, defensively, absolutely bananas. Whether it's been Chas McCormick, whether it was Jose Siri, whether it was Jake Myers, they've all been elite defensively. Jose Siri, who hasn't been the starting center fielder technically at all this season, he was splitting time with Chas and hasn't started there really even quote-unquote consistently in weeks, and he's still one of the best players in outs above average, league-wide in total outs above average. He's ridiculous. Chas McCormick, fantastic. Jake Myers might be the best of all of them defensively, but, I mean, they're all three just gem web machines out in center field, and they all deserve recognition for this because I couldn't pick one of them. So, behind the scenes, I just had to take like 30 minutes to just take a time out because it was genuinely storming too loud and I couldn't continue doing it because the rain and thunder just would not allow me. So, we're back, and for you it's nothing. For me it's been like over half an hour. Anyway, so we're going to go facepalm of the year, aka worst game, and then we're going to go into best game of the year because that is the perfect segue from one to the next. So, facepalm of the year. First game of a series against the New York Yankees in the Bronx. And no, it is not October, but I assure you it was the Bronx Zoo already. And the Astros, on the back of 2 3-run home runs, have a 6-3 lead going into the bottom of the 9th inning, and it seems like we're going to make a big statement win in the first game of the series. And yes, it was a statement win in the first game of that series, but not for the Astros. 4 Yankee runs later, concluding with an Aaron Judge RBI double to walk it off, and the Yankees come storming back from down 3 runs in the 9th inning against the Astros closer Ryan Pressly. And many questions are left in your mind after that game. Yeah, it was only one game, but still, we're asking ourselves, at least some of us were, is Ryan Pressly the closer? I didn't ask that, but, you know, it was still a thing among the fan base. Is he a viable closer for the rest of the season? Are the Astros still the toast of the American League, or have the Yankees, through lavish spending, usurped them for the crown? And then, Saturday came along. An afternoon start time, the Astros send Christian Javier, the coffee man himself, to the mound, and the Yankees respond with their ace, Garrett Cole. And, man oh man, we were treated to the best game of Christian Javier's young career. 7 scoreless, nay, hitless innings, 1 walk, 13 strikeouts. He carved that Yankees lineup top to bottom. No one could touch him, only 2 hard hit balls the entire day. Hector Neris comes in, sketchy 8th inning, but he gets out of it. And Ryan Pressly, 2 days after one of the biggest failures of his tenure as an Astro, and he responds with a pair of strikeouts in the 9th to close off the Yankee no-hitter. And the Astros set the stage perfectly offensively. A J.J. Metanjevic home run in the 7th inning, his second career home run, the biggest one of his young career. Altuve, to the sound of Bronx cheers, a home run in the 8th inning to make it 2-0, and a Yuli Gurriel RBI single in the 9th to give the Astros, and specifically to give Ryan Pressly, a 3-run lead in the 9th inning, a couple days after surrendering a 3-run lead to blow the game. It was, to this point, probably the most perfect game of the year. From a storyline perspective, I want to emphasize that. So there are my awards for the season and my game of the year and facepalm / worst game of the year for at least the midway point of the season. I never know how to end these videos because, like, I don't know yet what's happening with the doubleheader on Thursday, and when it's the actual, like, full season awards, there's no games for weeks to come. So I always have a hard time ending these videos, so I'm just going to cut it there. Thank you all so very much for watching. I hope you all have an absolutely fantastic day, and as always, go Stros.